right, welcome back. And we're moving into our final segment for today as we talk about the 27th Annual National Coastal and River Cleanup. And here to tell us more about it, we have Ricardo Alcoser, who's the country coordinator for the Coastal and Riverways Cleanup for the Scouts Association of Belize. We have Kleon Coleman, the Belize District Outreach Representative of Oceana in Belize. And we have Victor Shaw, who is the Sports Fishing Coordinator for the Coastal Zone Management. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
This is, of course, one of the biggest cleanup initiatives in this country, and it is a collaborative effort. I want to just step back a bit, because I think we were all a bit in shock when we realized it's the 27th year, to talk about where it first started.
Okay, we come under what we call the Ocean Conservancy's flagship International Coastal Cleanup. They are doing, this is their 31st year doing it, sorry. And we came a few years later to start this. The history basically comes to us that one person saw garbage on the beach and she started cleaning it up. And year after year, she started developing or getting more people to come on board.
Yeah.
And now it has become this international standard. I mean, you talk about close to 1 million people collecting over 12 million pounds of garbage every year for this annual event.
Yeah.
In Belize, just last year, we had close to 1,000 participants collecting almost, 5.5 tons of garbage.
5.5 tons?
Yes, 5.5 tons. And that's, we are talking about 30 miles of coast and riverways, including the Keys. Lighthouse, is it Lighthouse? No. Belize Urban Society manages Half Moon Key.
Half Moon Key.
So Half Moon Key also provides us some data on the garbage being collected. So it's something that we have been doing for the past years. There's no real correlation in people and the garbage. I mean, along with Mr. Shaw, we were able to bring out that statistics. But I mean, there is a lot of garbage that we pick up annually.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because Victor, one of the last conversations we had, I think it was fascinating. We were looking at moving towards studying our garbage, essentially, studying the garbage that we collect from the coast and from the water as well, to understand where it comes from. Where are we in that process?
We're actually getting a good headway. So the last time we spoke, it was about having this cleanup campaign in which we touched several coastal communities trying to do some educational outreach. And one of the feedbacks, one of the points of discussion we had with you guys was, could there be more done?
Yeah.
So we went back to the lab and we started to say, okay, let's reach out and see if we can definitely do more. And this year, because it was such a big focus on marine litter, we then reached out to the Scouts Association, who we knew were coordinating this national event, and said, okay guys, how could we collaborate with you? How could we get more out of this activity that you guys have been heading for so long, 27 years? Mr. Ricardo was kind enough to share with us some historical data that we took a look at, and we started to realize that one of the things we needed was, how could we then get everyone to get to this meter square standard? So we did a training, I believe it was about 2 weeks ago, with the Scouts Association and Oceana and BWS, just to share with them the information we had, what we wanted them, or what we would encourage them to try to sample during this year. And if we could then get that data, feed it back to our database, and then moving forward, then we could then show better trends and track it over time. So it isn't just a one-up event. It's something that we see occurring multiple, having multiple sampling events. So we have a huge asset being able to produce more or infer better trends.
This is interesting, because if I go back to my high school days in the environmental club, we already had to do quite a bit of documentation for the garbage collected. It was almost frustrating, like, more plastic, I don't have space in that column. You know, how different is it, this type of data collection versus what was being done before?
Well, on our part, the data sheets are still being used.
Okay.
We have more space, I put it, because instead of just saying bottle caps, we have them classified as plastic bottle caps or metal plastic caps.
Okay.
So even when it comes to beverage bottles, before we used to just use beverage bottles, but now we have the bottles, the glass bottle versus the plastic bottles, of which I can say the plastic beverage bottles are the second highest that we pick up in Belize, with close to 5,000 units. The number one is the plastic bottle cups. That's the number one with over 5,000 units that we pick up. And then third on the list is food wrappers, which is about 3,500.
Food.
Food wrappers. So where you put your burritos, where you put your panadas. Also includes the sweet wrappers. All of those things are classified under food wrappers.
Can I ask this question? Because it's irking me. Littering and garbage is a cleanliness, and I don't want to say nastiness, because it's something that we have to, it's a cultural problem. I'm looking at this image of the guy, the gentleman cleaning what seems to be a canal way, Salt Creek. And, you know, how do you hope that this exercise will trigger people to say, you know what, it's kind of nasty, man. 3 tons of garbage? You know, we have, the Belizeans have to take a little bit more pride and change the culture. How do you think that this exercise helps to change the culture, at least even to get people to shop to say, you know what, this is a problem?
Well, partnering with Oceana, because of their human resources, that is something of a challenge for us, because as I tell them, and we all know, garbage is not a natural problem, it's a man-made problem. We are the ones who create garbage. So the only solution to the garbage is us. Stop throwing it away. You know, that's the main thing. We have the councils, city council and town councils who pay people to pick up garbage. And then people have that mindset that, oh, if I not trade, then they don't have job. No, man. You want to give them a job, have a party, use your wares, your dinner wares, and pay them to wash it for you. That you can create.
Also,
and that's better.
Also, I've met with some people, and they are like, why does Oceana don't lobby the government to, you know, have different laws against plastic? And then I said to them, I mean, Oceana could go and we could lobby for any law, we could get the law, but like you said, it's all up to us, because we might get a law passed, and I might be the same one where we'll walk on the street side, buy 1 shilling water and drop it on the ground.
But there is a law, my friend.
I know there's many laws. There's many laws against dumping and different things, but people still do it. So it has to start from us first. Like what Ms. Janelle says, we can't be advocating for styrofoams if we do not start from our own office. So at our office we have policies, no styrofoams allowed, no plastics allowed at the office. So it has to start from us first.
Right?
And a lot of organizations right now are following that trend. I mean, Coastal Zone also has that policy in their office that we do not have no disposables here. You bring your own cup, you bring your own plates, you bring your own. And like I said, a lot of organizations are doing it. I know one of our partners, Yellow, they start promoting the water bottles. They have their lunch bags that they are trying to promote as well. I mean, these are promotional materials, but it helps us.
You know, and I think that you're absolutely right in getting the movement started within organizations, but there are many, I suppose for me the thing is, you won't be able to change everyone, because it even boils down to proper waste disposal. You know, it's not about littering, it's about putting your trash out and goes everywhere, or having an overfull waste bin basket in a public space, or not having one in a public space. So there are many other issues I think we can tackle from, but I want to go from the cleanup standpoint. How much do you find that these 1,000 people who get involved in the coastal cleanup and the riverway cleanup are transformed in their own thinking? Because that's really one way you can get them to say, man, this is a lot of work. And now when I see a plastic bag or I have a plastic bag, I'll rethink throwing that into some place I shouldn't.
Well, on the Scout Association standpoint, with the groups that we work with, we see that change, because the young scout comes and tells me or tells their leader, we went on a picnic and my parents wanted to throw the garbage, but it was a good thing that I took my plastic bag and we put all the garbage there, and I told them we need to dispose of it here. Another one says, oh, but they didn't have any. So what we did, we put it in the car and we took it back home.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the changes that we want to see. This is what we are advocating for, even for our camps. Before we used to have the leaders bring the disposables because it's a lot easier and then they can throw it, but no, you're creating more waste. So we promote more, you bring your plate, your cups, your
Yeah.
fork, your spoon, and after it's done, you wash it. I mean,
And
we have
reuse
water.
it.
There is water, enough water for them to wash it.
Yeah.
So they do wash it. Again, it teaches them that responsibility. So we see that trend with our scouts. Even now, when they have their meetings, they don't go running, buying waters and the shilling water and so on. They bring their own containers from home because a lot of companies have been giving out a lot of water bottles. So there's a lot of water bottles out there.
Yeah.
I mean, even the Tupperware in the north, that's very famous. They use that a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people go to the gym, they take their own water. You don't see the gym giving them water,
Yeah.
but they take their own, you know. So, like I said, on our part, we have been seeing that change, and it is for the positive.
Yeah, I've been seeing people with bamboo straws
Yeah.
now too. So
Yeah.
there's a slow uptake.
Yeah.
What about you with your wave makers? I know they
That's
do
what
regular
That
cleanups.
was what I'm going to talk about for the wave makers. I've seen a big change in them, especially for the SCA wave makers.
Yeah.
I think they do not carry any plastic thing to school anymore. And if you go to school and you don't have utensils to eat with, they provide the forks and things. So there's no plastic at their school. Nazarene is trying to do it, so we're trying to get all the other wave makers to, you know.
SJC
get
no
involved.
jump in it, man.
SJC will jump in. No
Okay,
worry.
good.
All right. So from our end, one of the outcomes of the campaign that we did with Oceana in the past was indeed that there was a shift in the mentality of some of the children, that they start to realize that, guys, the ideal bag that I'm showing away now isn't just disappearing, it's actually getting out to the seas. And I must commend a lot of the primary schools that we do visit. I'm not sure about the public areas, but at the schools they do have enough trash receptacles,
Yeah.
properly labeled, having some encouraging sign,
Yeah.
guys, feed the bin or something of the sort. The biggest problem isn't necessarily the younger up and coming generation, because they're
It's the
already in this
older
age
one.
and they're exposed to all of
Exactly.
these negativities in school, so
Yeah.
they know about the issue. It's the older generation now, the guys busy trying to do the 6 to 6 making a living, that those are the guys that we need to start to target,
Yeah.
because those would be the drivers behind the trash issue,
Yeah.
right? So it's really, where is the trash coming from, and how do we then reach out to these people moving forward? But like you guys indeed mentioned, this will take a cultural shift, and we all know that cultural shift takes time.
And the enforcement,
Yeah.
but you're not the enforcement body,
No.
so I can't pressure you
No.
there. Because we know that there's still illegal dump sites. As I said before, there's still many areas where you go where there aren't trash receptacles, and I don't know why people feel uncomfortable walking with it in their hand until they reach a trash site. But in the meantime, we do have initiatives like this to help to get some of the trash out of the water and get those who are involved exposed to the extent of littering that we see. When is the cleanup going to be?
The cleanup is going to be on the 29th of September, which is the last Saturday of the month.
Yeah.
We so far are mobilizing about 2,000 citizen scientists. They're not volunteers, no.
I like
They
that, yeah.
are citizen scientists collecting data to find out what we have. And if, let's say for the past years, Coastal Zone has been helping us,
Yeah.
we can bring up all the data of what Coastal Zone has been collecting, even for Oceana, how many people they have gotten involved, are the areas, everything. I mean, we have the statistics that goes along with it.
Yeah.
But the 29th of September, the time is usually between 8 and 12. We don't have a big ceremony or anything. The groups know their areas. They usually go to their areas. Some have already confirmed their participation, but we are still waiting on the amount of people that would be coming out from them. We have a few people that are also coming on board, helping us, like Coastal Zone, Department of Environment, Solid Waste Management. We have the Belize Tourism Board also coming up to assist us now. Oceana with their human resources, which is a lot. They reach out to a lot of people as us, And here in Belize City, of course, we just can't just pick it up and leave it on the side of the road because we are not doing anything.
Yeah.
So Mr. Lam over at Belize Waste Control, he gracefully assists us every year in collecting the garbage bags for us. And whereas one organization sees their garbage on the side of the street on the Monday. They call us, and Mr. Lamb gracefully goes and gets that collected. No, so we do have these things in place. It's not just a regular pickup, but it's a data collection from our citizen scientists.
And that's what I was going to ask you. How do you know how much it weighs? Is it
There
an estimate
are-
that you do?
There are some groups that bring out their own scale. If we had the money, we would give each group a scale. But by international communication and standards, regular 33-gallon size bag would have about 15 pounds of garbage, more or less. And then, whereas you collect tires and electrical appliances, all of them have an estimated weight, so that is what we use.
Can I ask you this? As somebody who participates in this cleanup, what are your thoughts and feelings as you're picking up the garbage?
My one is, man, why not throw it away? Put it, see, the garbage drum is right there. I mean, it's a few feet,
Yeah.
the garbage drum is. It's not too far. That's the main thing. I mean, where your mom, where's your dad, then they teach you not to throw garbage. Did you go to school? At school, all over the place, you have, don't throw garbage, don't be a litter bug, don't be a pig, dispose. I mean, you go to school and this is all over the place.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
for you,
can-
Oceana?
yeah.
For me, I like, for a small country like Belize, we produce a lot of garbage. So every day pick up the garbage, I like, can't believe my small country, they produce this amount of garbage.
Interesting.
From my personal experience, it's more of a hold your head kind of situation, which you can't justify litter and say like, again.
Yeah.
So that like that, I'm more of anything that does you. In what situation I think you could adequately justify littering. So I'm more of the hold your head and the question if there are people who even care or I sure in Ghana school that are more of if you care or if you know pride.
I mean, a lot of us speak of being proud of being Belizeans, and I think we seem to miss the link between civic pride and cleanliness in the areas where we live. And like I said, I think enforcement would go a long way because
Yes.
it does. There's a reason people don't throw trash when they go across the border. They're scared of being penalized. Everybody's
right.
scared of the Mexican police, and
That's right.
that's why they put on their seatbelts and get their insurance and whatever else. And I think that it would go a long way here. But as I said, you know, in the meantime, we still have to do something about the trash. My question is, how do people, I know you work very much with organizations and groups and schools, but if somebody's watching not associated with any one of those and just says, okay, I want to go and participate, how can they join?
Well, they can call us over at the Scout office, 223-7216. I mean, it's really easy to contact us. Most of those people also have internet, so they connect to Facebook. You can
Yeah.
find us on Facebook at Scouts of Belize. If you don't want to go through there, you want to go through the Department of Environment, you can reach out to the Department of Environment. You can reach out to Coastal Zone Management. You can reach out to Oceana, wherever you think you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
We're here to get people involved, for people to think that they will make a difference. And on the 29th of September, we would be coming out. Don't just go out to an area and expect stuff, but let us know so that we can prepare the stuff for you on time. I mean, as scouts, we are prepared.
Yeah.
And as prepared, we do things on time. And to do things on time, meaning that we are there doing our part for the betterment of our world.
So while it's good to clean up an area, for this particular event, you want to get your proper equipment, your garbage
Yes,
bags, your gloves,
bags,
and your
gloves,
data sheets.
The data sheets.
Yeah.
Yes, and we have a posters that were done, so we are circulating that to the different high school and primary schools as well, so that the boys and girls can look at it and come out now.
Can I ask my final question in terms of the Scouts Association is more, as I understand it, more a male-focused organization because they're the Girl Guides and Brownies. But for
No,
sure,
they
the
do have
population
girls.
they do, but
Once upon a time, hold on. Once upon a time, it was a boy and girl. It was a boys only. But now you have Girl Scouts.
yes. But could you tell us what is the value of using the Scouts organization to spearhead this, and what that merger as the front-running image does for the movement to create civic pride and the change in culture?
Well, based on history, Lord Baden-Powell initially started scouting as an environmental group.
Oh.
That's 1907, bringing people together. Boys, actually, yes, it was boys focused because it was thought of something as militaristic, but as what the word scout entails, you go out and you scout an area, and females in that time, our age was very different as opposed to the focus right now with gender equality and all of those things. But nonetheless, based on that focus, we have had females being part of scouting. The Girl Guide Association is a sister to what is the Scouts of Belize. Again, history tells us that Lord Baden-Powell, the founder of scouting, started it with boys. So what happened to the girls? His wife, Olive, started the Girl Guides. But
Smart lady.
now, yes, but again, in those times, Girl Guide was mainly focused on what we would dub as home economics. But now, girls can do the same thing as boys. You know, only when it's convenient to them, then, oh, I can't do that.
See, yes.
But in scouting,
I was going to say, you hit a nerve just now.
but in scouting,
Hold on, you
the
do represent
girls,
girls in your organization. You do realize
Yes.
that. And in fact, some of the most outstanding scouts that I know right
Yes.
now
I'll walk
are
away.
females.
so
So careful treading
yes.
there.
So in scouting, the girls do a lot of the activities that the boys do. So there's no distinction, oh, it's a girl thing, it's a boy
Yeah.
thing. So both of them do their activities, do their pioneering, do their activities, do their technological advancements and what have you, because they can do it.
Yeah.
And that is the challenge that we put to these girls, that anything a boy can do, the girl can do, and
And
sometimes
vice
even
versa.
better.
And vice versa as well.
Yes.
What I've seen with your camps, I've seen the boys doing the cooking, the girls doing some of the non-traditional roles have been flipped. And I think that's one of the beauty
Yes.
of the evolution of scouts
And again,
over
it's,
time.
it's what we are based on, responsibility, self-reliance. You don't have to depend on anybody, but you can do it on your own. And we're teaching you, along with our volunteers, the adults, those above 18.
You know why I love scouting so much? Right now we are under a state of emergency. And it's because the authorities say that we have a gang problem. Scouts is a gang, but it's a positive
Yes.
gang. I mean,
Yes.
you have positive role models like yourself and other volunteers, and you have a captive audience of young men and women who learn skills. Just like in the streets,
Yes.
they learn skills, how to shoot somebody, how to sell drugs. But in your case, a positive thing. You know, what's the size of the scouting population right now? And I just like you to make a plea to ask parents to say, listen, either help to assist us or send your kids, because we have a lot of positive things going on here.
Well, based on our last annual general meeting, which was this past weekend, we have a little under 1,000 scouts countrywide. We reach all the way from Corozal to Toledo. I mean, it's basically an encouragement. Scouting has also been a family affair, whereas I have been a scout, so I want my son to be a part of scouting. But we do get the challenge of the volunteerism, of which we need adult volunteers, persons above 18 years, to come on board to assist us in working with the group. We do have people that come now and again to give 50 minutes of their time and so on. But getting the adults to come on board, I mean, that takes a lot. I mean, we have a group from St. Ignatius, we have Ebenezer. The leaders are teachers, you know. Mr. Kirkland Fiesta works, I believe, at the Belize Diabetes Association. He's also a chef. So based on what he has seen Scout doing, he gets more involved in these young boys and girls, especially St. Ignatius that's on South Side.
Yeah.
You know, we used to have St. Martin's group, the St. Martin Parish used to help a lot, but again, the adults
leaders,
move out.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
you know, and we thank you for coming in and talking about the one of the initiatives that comes out of the Scouts Association. Once again, that takes place next week, and people can find you guys, Oceana Coastal Zone Scout Association, to find out how they can join in on the cleanup. It's a great opportunity for people to do something. We're talking about Service Day tomorrow. It doesn't have to just be on the 19th. It can be any time.
Yeah.
And so this is one
Yes.
activity they can join in.
So some of the pictures that were shown, For this year, we had Big Falls, so we have those pictures that were shown, and Barranco.
Nice.
Those two have already done it in Toledo, along with the support of Ms.
Oceana.
Anna Lichuk and Oceana, that have been working on it. This one is from Big Falls.
Big Falls.
Those are the boys and girls. They have their data sheets. They're recording the information. And like I said, Ms. Anna Lee is the one helping them, so that these young boys and girls can learn that survey statistical taking.
Yeah.
This one is Barranco. They did that cleanup in Barranco on Saturday. You know, so we have a lot more happening, and hopefully, I mean, just as the children are smiling, we see the adults smiling.
So
Yes.
next Saturday.
Yes, next
Yeah.
Saturday, September 29th.
Thank you very much for coming in and sharing the details with us.
And thank you for
Thank you.
having
And
us.
best of luck.
Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and take that final break now, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap up, so stay tuned.